not. All
You know
right.
you got
So
it,
this
baby. You know
is
you got it. You know you got
yes,
it.
indeed.
You are on the air. You are ready to go.
Yes, indeed.
All
Yes,
right.
indeed. Good evening, family. Good evening, family. Good evening. Good evening. It's Tuesday, y'all. And welcome back, yes, indeed, to the Roundtable Talk Show. Uh, hold on. Let me mute myself. I'm listening to me. I'm watching us. Yes, indeed. But it is definitely Tuesday, and welcome back to the Roundtable Talk Show on the Knowledge is Power podcast live. I am your host, Christopher Earl Jones, coming to you live. I promise. Tonight episode is called Ballots and Bloodshed. Ballots and Bloodshed. So give me a little second. We was actually trying to look up the elections that's going on right now. So we're trying to keep current with that. So I got several screens open. Let me situate myself. But anyway, yes, the topic of this evening, our episode for this evening is called Ballots and Bloodshed. And um I want to go a little step deeper into this topic and sort of kind of put an exclamation point on it with an asterisk, maybe a few asterisks in the beginning of it. But slavery is but a measure on the ballot. And let me say this clear: this episode is not a soft episode. This is not just go vote. And I hope everybody that was able and willing to participate or wanted to participate in the runoff election that just happened here in Jefferson County in the state of Texas. I hope you were able to exercise your privilege and your right without obstruction and or delay. With that being said, like I said, this is not about both sides of the same, coin, like most people say. We're not going for that tonight. This is not a stop making it a racial episode. This is not the episode where we say the quiet part loud. Just that kind of episode. This is the attack on Negro political power episode. I just want y'all to know that, and especially political representation of black and brown individuals. I didn't say Republicans or Democrats. I said black representatives, period, across the board. Okay. Um, and I also want y'all to know that this attack on our political power never stopped even when we got it. It evolved. They used every block that they could dismantle the vote directly. Um, and now they weaken the power behind that same vote, right? They used to say you can you you cannot vote. Now they say you can still vote, but we already cut your district, moved your lines, or narrowed your remedy for whatever cause it is. Weakened your lawsuit. We changed your board, confused your process, and even diluted your outcome. That is not democracy. That's managed democracy. And I want y'all to know I keep throwing managed over freedom in our face because that's where we are. That's where we are. Especially as a BLOC, a block, a voting block, an economic block, a health block. Look, this I mean, measure this process has moved fast. Look how fast they moved when black representation is targeted. They called special sessions. They what redrew maps, filed for emergency motions in Louisiana. rushed court orders. This is the first in my 40 something years I've ever seen legislation move this fast. They will change election calendars, throw voters into confusion, cancel the election, and then put it back on like they the DJ at the DJ booth with a vinyl. But when black communities need clean water, fair housing, fair schools, hospital access, environmental protection, civil rights enforcement, economic investment, or even just basic city, county, state infrastructure repair in our communities, suddenly government needs more time. We need a study. Here it is. We done found some monies to give to somebody whenever there's a rainy day fund according to the federal government, and our president just used that fund as a slush fund to create an opportunity for reparations. Y'all better file. I don't know if y'all not. I am. I'm waiting for the application to upload because I too am a victim of my government. Um, I mean, even when it comes to a committee, a pilot program, a task force, a listening session, they want to know our story more than we do. So don't tell me government can't move fast. It moves fast when it wants to. It moves fast against us and slow for us. And I want you to ask yourself this question tonight. Where is the outrage for white Democrats when black districts are carved up? Where they at? Where, where they at? Where is the white representatives, Republican or Democrat? Especially when Negro representation is targeted like a legal problem. I want to know where they at. Where are the donors? Where are the PACs? Where are the big money advocate groups? I'm not. I'm gonna say their name. I'm gonna say their name. I was gonna say. I ain't gonna even say their name. Where are the corporate voices that posted all this diversity language? Right? Where are the folks who claim democracy is one line? Is the the one line every election needs, the community that every line needs. Make that make sense because PACs and donor networks know how to move money when their priorities are threatened. APAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, and it is linked politically, or political spending became a natural a national story in races involving Jamal Bowman, what's his name, Corey Bush in 2024. So let's not pretend organized money cannot move fast. It moves when the priorities are protected. The question is, why does urgency get quiet when black voter power or voters are targeted or put on the chopping block? I mean, like, that's the gut punch right there for me, y'all. I'm not targeting a particular sleeping or disconnected community of ours no more. For a long time, we were, had the idea that, oh, they don't fear uh, our participation. They don't fear our control. Tonight we are working, of course, 3 rounds. I'm definitely gonna pull 3 rounds, but the shots uh the shots for tonight's is they never stopped the playing. They never stopped the playing. I just want you to know they never stopped the playing. Round two is the real target is the mind. And number three is build or be ruled. Family, drop your city in the chat and answer this question before we get started. Did voter suppression disappear or did it just get cleaner? Let's get to work. I'm definitely gonna bring in my crew because I'm excited about it tonight because I know they coming with that heat. Y'all better be ready. Um First up is my big sister, Dr. Catherine Campbell. Say good evening to the people.
Good evening, people.
Yes, indeed. That is Dr. Beauty right there. She cuts through polite language and she definitely catches the manipulation underneath it. Um, sis, tonight I need that clean blade, right? Fresh shave, because this conversation is full of petty words hiding in ugly outcomes. And I definitely want you to expose it. Pick my ingrown hair if you need to, huh?
I'm proficient with a blade, baby. I
Yes,
got you.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Big bro, what's up, Perry Busby? Say good evening to the people.
Good evening.
Yes, indeed. That's the writer at almost Barry White tonight. You hear me? Writer, data analysis, pattern reader, receipt puller. Perry follows the timeline, the ruling, the map, the donor money, the pack money, and the missing footnote. Tonight, big bro, I definitely need receipts because this rollback on us is astounding. You know, yeah. Perry, welcome in, man. Bring y'all stuff. Dustin, tell the people good evening. Man, what's going on?
What up, people?
Yes, indeed. That's my little brother, man. Veteran, straight shooter, ground level truth teller, Jaguar. Dustin brings, he brings it to the block, to the household, to the worker, the voter, the person trying to figure out why these rules keep changing after they already showed up, after they're allegedly precedent, legal precedent. Uh-huh. 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 Dustin, welcome in. And to you, our, listeners and watchers, we thank y'all for being here on this evening. So pull up your chair, pull up your get your notebooks out, like Dr. Campbell normally say. Go and get your notebook out. Cause we definitely want you to weigh in and engage not only on this table tonight, but we need you to take this out into the community because it's definitely important for us to have these types of dialogue. So, again, everybody, welcome, 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 welcome. Let's get this together. So, um, round one, they never stopped the plan. Suppression evolved instead of disappeared. I definitely want y'all to know we see it and we about to call it on out. So, all right, there we go. I was about to say all of this just done flipped up. All right, there we go. So um, after Reconstruction, I definitely want to start there because I want people to understand, some stuff. Um, again, like I said, they never stopped the plan. Suppression evolved instead of disappeared. Um, they changed the tools. Again, those tools look. Dr. Campbell, you all right? Oh, you lost your headset.
Yeah.
Welcome back. I was like, did somebody come in now? On the way.
Yeah.
No, but after Reconstruction, it was lynching. After lynching, it was black codes. After black codes, of course, in in that same breath came racial terror and, of course, violent overthrow. After Jim Crow, it was poll taxes, literacy tests, white primaries only, and segregation. After civil rights, it became mass incarceration, felony disenfranchisement, redistricting, manipulation, judicial reinterpretation, and administrative suppression. Now, in our era, Dustin, we're seeing just the mapping, right, or remapping, or engineering, map engineering, if we could. Voter purges, state election takeovers, emergency court orders, procedure confessions, and race neutral language with racial predictable outcomes. America did not, by all means, abandon suppression, it modernized it. Shelby County versus Holder, one of the episodes we talked about in the past. We can pre-clearance in 2013. Uh, who was that? Brovanich versus Democrats, and the Democrat National Committee narrowed Section 2 vote denial, which in 2021. Louisiana versus Calais yesterday, happened yesterday. That was just yesterday. Has now reshaped the legal battlefield around race, redistricting, and majority minority districts. Raise your hand, everybody that's at this table. You live in a majority minority voting district. I just want you to know. And so
For sure.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson warned the courts that this, you know, recent precedent, if we can call it, if we could even call it that, um, has reshaped and well, the actions have created chaos and weakened voting rights protections for not just Negroes, but for everybody, especially women. And now, at we look at how fast the reaction is. South Carolina Republicans moved toward redrawing James Clyburn's district, the state's only black district, uh, congressional seat, black Democrat congressional seat. Not all Democrat seats are targeted. I want. That's why I'm pointing out to you all. I hope we point this out to you all. It's not all Democrat seats that's being targeted. It's black Democrat congressional representation that's being targeted. After the last Supreme Court shift, that tells you what this really, really is. When black representation is on the line, the machine moves fast. When black communities need repair, the machine moves slow or breaks down. That's not coincidence, y'all. That's priority. Dr. Campbell, you ready for your shot?
No, my earpiece ain't working right. Hold on.
So you want me to pull up your
I don't
shot?
know
I
what's
mean, you want
going
me to
on
pull
here. I'm
somebody
take
else
them
up?
out.
Oh,
All
but
right,
you
I'm
couldn't hear
ready.
us. You couldn't
Uh
hear us.
oh. Now I can't hear you at all. God dog it. Wait a minute. I'm gonna turn that thing off. That's what. Uh, shucks.
You ready?
Here we go. Bluetooth off. Okay, now talk.
You ready? Are you ready?
Are you there?
Yeah, we here. You there?
Oh, I can't hear you.
Might have to put your earbuds back in.
I'm taking them off.
What you
I'm
could
turning them off.
you couldn't hear us through the earbuds?
Okay, wait. Okay, they're connecting now. Shoot. Let me see.
I thought we had that
Okay.
covered in the back.
Oh,
They want to hate.
all right. I'm ready.
You ready?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Why is this not working?
I hear you. We can hear you. Can
Can
you
you hear
hear
me?
us? Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh man. You ready for your shot, Queen?
Say it one more time, please.
You ready for your shot?
I'm ready for my shot.
All right. if modern suppression no longer requires open racism, what does it say that America found a cleaner way to produce similar outcomes, political
It
outcomes at
says
that?
they got smarter, not kinder. The same results, different packages. No hoods, no signs, just algorithms, zoning laws, and neutral policies that somehow hit the same neighborhoods every time. Cleaner
Every
on the
time.
surface, but the scoreboard still looks familiar.
Hmm. I promise. I promise. That's the point right there. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of our elders is the signs of familiarity. This looks familiar, and so you know America may have cleaned up the language, not the outcome. It does not
Right.
have to say, like you said, black people cannot vote anymore. It just has to draw the map so black votes cannot govern. And that's the issue right there, right? It's the governance of our political power. It does not have to um, hang a sign over the door, on the door. It just has to move the door, change the rules, and call the outcome legal. That's why people miss it. They're looking for old racism in old clothes. But this version wears the suit, y'all. uh, it cites precedent. It files motions and says race neutral language. Oh, we're over racism. That was so long ago. I mean, but the results still land on us. Period. So no, I'm not, and I hope y'all not impressed by the clean language. So show me the outcome. If the outcome keeps weakening the black power, then the language is camouflaged. And that's where we at. Perry, you ready for your shot?
Yes,
I got an echo.
It ain't me.
I do too.
Tony. Yes, sir. That's you.
I mean,
Perry, your shot.
okay.
When Supreme Court rulings repeatedly weaken protections historically tied to Negro political advancement, should communities still treat these outcomes as isolated decisions?
I think in some instances, uh, some may see it as isolated. But in all honesty, I mean, this is a long thread, and while some may even want to say that from this current Roberts court that some may argue that this started in 2013 with Shelby versus Holder. Uh but that was just the latest. Uh some would even say that this started with Roberts back in 82 when they had
That's what I would say.
when they were attacking Section 5 in terms of saying uh outcomes would would help identify where we still needed to make correction. And so Roberts came with an old argument that we see Republicans still use, and that is that discrimination attempts to provide equality in some ways discriminate on their face. that in a sense to help establish and ensure that voices of minority communities were heard, that in a sense to create opportunities for those voices to be heard was on its face a discriminatory act.
Absolutely.
And so again, this isn't new. And Chris, you and I were talking earlier. Roberts has been working on this since the Reagan administration, because that's when Congress voted and said, no, we have to strengthen. And so in order for Section 5 to be justified, it had some teeth that the government was going to oversee and make sure that these districts, these congressional districts where minorities were heard, that their voice, that they would establish a method. Now, what neither prepared on or what neither prepared for at the time was the shift and the migrations that we faced. We've had over. They did not anticipate the continued migration of blacks from north coming back to the south. And so, yes, this is, I mean, for us, you know, you say, where does this start? Well, the Negro and voting has been a paradox for America since its founding. I mean, that's where we get the 3/5 compromise. But if you really want to understand where America feels about this, I don't think you have to look any further than the Dred Scott decision, where Supreme Court Justice Taney said that Negroes had before were inferior and did not have any such right that the white man should even pay attention to. And not only was that wrong on a moral sense, it was wrong on a humanity sense. It was wrong on a religious, spiritual sense. It was wrong on a political sense.
On a treaty sense, yeah.
And so America continues to fight itself in this same quandary. It's still morally wrong today. It's still politically wrong. I mean, we see that now. I mean, this current administration isn't even trying to play the politics.
Right.
It's putting it right in your face. It's saying to some who are just finding out that they the new niggas, that this is how we treat you when we don't want to consider your voice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I said that deliberately to make some people shake, because we want to get caught up on the word when they keep treating us like it.
Yeah. Who drinking alcohol?
No.
I mean, I agree. You know, like you said, to me, that would be political malfeasance or malpractice, if you will. These are not isolated decisions that individuals are making, and it didn't just come about yesterday. This doctrine is a stacked on doctrine on top of doctrine of the eradication of the Negro in any way, especially in their home country. And so, you know, like you said, shall be weakened, but that was just the part that was exposed to us. on a level of our understanding in a current sense, right? Of
Right.
course, Bronovich narrowed the path. Calais made it, made majority, especially majority minority protection, more unstable um, than
You're right.
what we were seeing in my era. Like I said, voter roll purges. Of course, that probably happened back in the day, but it was
No,
more
I mean,
prevalent
I would argue
as a
against that, Chris.
pattern. It was more prevalent as a pattern in my era of voting. So
Right.
I'm talking about
But
prevalent
even
in your
but
face.
even
I will purge
then,
you even after I done mailed you, even after I sent you your voter registration card, I'll still purge your ass off the roll. That's what
right.
I'm talking about. More in your face, more aggressive. You can register all you want. And then the intimidation came back where we were seeing what y'all saw, households being you might as well say raided for individuals that allegedly voted against the law, uh, against the law. You've sent me a voter registration card, and I go cast my vote with my voter registration and my ID. And I still got, man, but people in our community have been indoctrinated, even conditioned to believe that our vote never mattered, our vote never counted. And it was never that. It was your vote matters so much, I'll dilute you, I'll remove you. I mean, like I said earlier, where's the same urgency? Where's the same money? Where's the same legal defense? NAACP ain't the only ones that need to be doing this. ACLU, well, I mean, like, where's the alleged panic and outcry, national panic and outcry? Because again, like I said, this doesn't just dilute the Negro representation. Because if they're doing it to us, you guaranteed it's coming for you too. Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Yep.
If maps, courts, elections, election boards, and procedural confusion can legally dilute representation, what exactly separates this from modernized Jim Crow?
There's no separation. They're just simply continuing the long tradition of Columbusing. If you're not familiar with the term Columbusing, go see what Christopher Columbus did. Come on back to me. So they continue their tradition of Columbusing when they magically discover something that's already
It was
existed.
already
So
there.
instead of Jim Crow, it's MAGA. Same thing.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
fewer fingerprints.
Wow. Wow. Nothing but packaging, he said.
Hmm.
Jim Crow was not only about stopping people at the door, it was about controlling outcomes, complete outcomes. Who could vote, when they could vote, whether their vote even mattered, or whether their district had power. And I'm talking about political power, whether their candidate could win. That's what we're seeing today. They can leave the ballot in your hand and still drain power from it. Make that make sense. They can pack us, crack us, split us. I'm just throwing out these terminologies that they're using now. Last time I heard, oh no, that's fracking, my bad. And last time I heard cracking, let the youth tell you about cracking. It ain't the same about what this cracking here. So splitting, moving us, delaying us, of course, like I said earlier, confusing us. They call it legal. While all along this is modernized Jim Crow. white districts are treated like political normalities or normalcies. They not worrying about their voter rights or their voter power. I want you to know that. Black districts are treated like constitutional suspicion. White representation gets protected like infrastructure in their neighborhood because it's obvious ours have decayed. Black representation gets reviewed like a problem. This is a double standard, y'all, and a double standard that has been pointed out long before our time, Dustin. Long before Miss Catnam time. Long before my mama time. So I'm not asking whether or not we can vote. We obviously can see that we can vote. What I'm asking is, can our vote still govern? That's the question. That's the ultimate answer that we need to really find out as community. Um, Guess shot. What are average Americans still failing to understand about how district maps and election administration quietly determines uh, political power before elections even happen? Anybody want to take that?
Most folks think their vote picks the winner, but the truth is, by the time you vote, the winner is already decided by who drew the maps and who runs the count. The
Mm,
game isn't election day, it's map day, and most people aren't even watching.
exactly. Exactly. Election day is not where power starts. I just want people to know that. By the time we vote, especially if we don't have, and I heard a lot of people say it during this election. Um, I don't have a dog in the fight. It's just a runoff election.
Yeah, you do.
I heard it a lot. It's just a runoff election. I mean, but by the time we vote, the field may already be titled. I mean, like the district was the like you said, Dr. Campbell, the district was already drawn. The 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 polling place was already bought. I mean, chosen. I said that right. The polling
You
place was
did.
already bought. The deadlines were, were already set. Some polling locations that closed were done intentional. Election boards were already appointed. The people that go count your ballot already, man, y'all, yeah. I mean, the money already moved. I mean, the average person thinks voting starts at the booth and it don't. Power knows it starts at the map. That is why political districting and map literacy is very much so important. Very much so important. Somebody pull me up.
If America could no longer openly deny Negro voting rights, did it simply evolve towards awakening Negro voting power instead?
I think so, yes. I think so, yes. And I believe that is exactly what happened. Because when denying the vote became too ugly, they exposed too ugly to expose. They changed it up a little bit. They changed their attire and to and to hide that it was too legally dangerous. The strategy that they used shifted, right?
Right,
They stopped saying you cannot vote and started saying your vote will not be allowed to control a daggum thing. That's what they're saying.
right.
That's
They
the
made your vote
difference.
count less. Is what they did.
Correct. Or,
They couldn't
right.
stop you from voting, but they made your vote count a lot less.
and it's your representation. Your vote still counts as one. You just don't have no black representation. And if you do have a black candidate, it's going to be harder for that black candidate to be elected in your small voting block compared to their large voting district, if that makes sense. Let them vote, but split the district. Let them vote, but pack it into one seat. Crack them across 5 different communities, or that would have been districts, but weaken them as a collective. Change the rules, exhaust the lawsuits, drain the power before the ballot is even cast. That's why I keep saying they are not afraid of black turnout by itself. They are afraid of black turnout becoming black control. They do not fear us participating. They don't worry about that because there's not many of us that do. And when we do, most of us still in the polls talk about what we voting for now or who we voting for now. So, you know, they don't fear us participating, they fear us governing. And look at, again, I'm going to say, look how fast they moved after the decision was made at the Supreme Court to dilute Negro representation across the nation, y'all. That should at least tell you something about your voting power and your political power.
Chris, can we also put it into perspective that yes, this latest did start with Shelby Holder, because we got to remember that it was in 2008 that black voter participation equal white voter participation. That was with Obama. And then in 2012, black voter participation exceeded white participation. Didn't say numbers. I said participation percentage. Our participation was at its highest.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I don't care if it was Republican, Independent, Democrat. It scared white America that we were voted at a percentage higher than them.
Mm. Mm.
And when you look at it, I mean, the numbers don't lie. When you look at it, black participation, because they began to data mine us and sift us like wheat, our numbers went down, and yet even in that, we still found strength. Black folk have always upheld America's at least aspiration toward democracy. We've always been that foundation. And so now here we are at this point asking something of folk who never asked a damn thing of themselves.
I agree. That's the insult. Fast against us, slow for us, and where are the defenders? Like you said, I mean, like I said earlier, though, where are the defenders? Where are the white Democrats who say they need us? Where are the donors that say they love democracy? Where are the PACs that can raise millions overnight in a few hours? I'm just wondering where the corporate voices that discovered racial justice in 2020. Silent, selective, or late. And that silence tells the truth. Black voters are useful Black power is negotiable. That's why voting alone is not enough, y'all. That's why. Check question number one. Um, of course, we gonna definitely ask y'all to not sugarcoat, but what weakens political power the fastest? Put a one in the chat for the courts. Put a two in the chat for the maps. Put a three in the chat for public hopelessness. Put a four in the chat for economic dependency. Put a five in the chat for communities mentally surrendering. Drop your number in the chat. Drop your number in the chat. I'm dropping this in the chat. Roundtable question. Y'all ready for that?
Mhm.
Unless y'all gonna answer that chat question. Y'all want to answer
My
that chat
chat, my
question?
chat answer is number 5. Communities
Mine
mentally
is
surrendering.
mine is I think mine would have to be public hopelessness. And the reason I say that is because regardless to what information you may give your community, regardless to how much you empower them about their particular candidate, regardless to if they're opposed or non-opposed, um, public hopelessness will definitely cut the entire community from participating, whether they registered or
Yeah.
not. It even
Yeah.
dampers the registration. And that's where I think, me personally, they have been targeting our communities because I remember a little while ago on an episode, Dustin said he didn't do, they didn't teach elections in the same district that I went to that did. And mind you, his class is not that far behind mine. So public hopelessness. I'm gonna restrict you. I see, like you said, I saw that you increased your voting numbers, your block increased, your percentage increased, but I'm gonna remove that proponent from community education or public education around civic duties and civic liabilities and civic liberties, so that eventually I'll have you in this place that you're currently in now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll explain my answer as well. I said communities mentally surrendering because courts and maps and money that can all be fought. But if people don't believe nothing will change, they'll stop showing up. They'll stop running. They'll stop paying attention. That silence does more than damage one election cycle. It damages everything. It's a system that doesn't have to break you, even if you hand it the hammer yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You you're just mentally broken.
Yeah. There is there is definitely a need in our community for um just blanket political awareness, political structure, political just blanket, just throw it all at them all at one time, and keep throwing it. Just keep throwing it, because I mean, either we come out of this on the other side with treaty power, or we combat this on the other side, or we combat this on this side in voting power. That's the only that's it. Wrong question, wrong type of question. um has modern suppression become more effective, precisely more effective precisely because most Americans no longer recognize it as suppression? Dr. Campbell,
Bingo.
you have the floor.
That's exactly right. Old suppression had a face like dogs and horses, and you can't sit here.
Mm.
But suppression has a spreadsheet now, a smile, and a ruling that says nothing to see here. Most people look for the club and miss the fine print. That's what makes it more effective. You can't fight what you don't see, what you don't even see coming at
Mm-hmm. Pierre, you had a floor.
Yeah, I would say to paraphrase Frederick Douglass, he says, when a people will accept as little justice from a government, that's really just how much justice you're going to get.
Mm,
And so, yeah, it's been an incremental, uh, in some ways, depending on which generation you speak with, they'll say, "Man, it's gone by fast," but there's been an incremental allowance of what is accepted. I mean, we just talked about John Roberts starting this in '82.
mm. I was
And
too.
so, they were committed to an effort and an effort that we saw. We heard about the fights and we left those fights in the courts. And so, it really spoke to a much different time in terms of what was the new fight ahead for us and how do we fight. And
Yeah.
so I think that's one that we're still grappling with even to this day. I mean, what is this new fight? As Dr. Cat says, it's now on spreadsheets. It's now connected to your phone. It's so but none of that stops us from saying what is our plan.
Hmm. Right.
I know what they doing, what we doing.
Right. Dustin, you had the floor.
That will require that they acknowledge the suppression in the first place.
you.
Because if you notice, they're not trying to teach it. People aren't learning it on their own. Some don't even think it existed.
Right.
So the thing gonna be what suppression? What is suppression? And then we back to starting this race all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Modern suppression works because it does not look like the pictures people paint, or people remember. I heard somebody say the reason most of the civil rights pictures are done in black and white so that it could give the illusion that it was so long ago. Did y'all hear what I said? They took the pictures of the civil rights era to make it seem that this happened so long ago. And I'm gonna tell y'all, my mom was like born in 55. There were colored pictures in 55. Low key, that was Polaroids in 55. So you could have came out with some colored pictures of what was actually going on. So I mean, like, it does not always come with dogs and horses, like Dr. Campbell say. Now it comes with software, corrupt judges. I can't just say judges, corrupt judges. Skewed maps. Let's say um manipulated data. Uh trumped up headlines and legal language that makes people hesitate to call it what it is. And the hesitation is expensive by all means. By the time people recognize anything's going on, the map is passed. The district is gone. The lawsuit narrative is removed. I remember a while back when we first started back at the table, we were talking about the community in Louisiana that had the EPA lawsuit. Soon as the orange orangutan got up in there, he dismantled the entire lawsuit. The candidate pipeline is weakened. The community is tired. The damage is done and legal according to them. That's why this version is so dangerous, y'all. It structures the field so our effort and procedures have less power. And here's the part white America needs to hear, especially if you are, whether or not, if ally or not. If you only defend democracy when your own seat is threatened, you are not defending democracy. You are defending your comfort. I want you to know that. If PACs and donors can mobilize millions for other priorities, but go quiet when Black representation is carved up like Christmas turkeys, that silence is political. And if white Democrats think this is the only, this is only a Black problem, they are fooling themselves. Tools tested on Black communities rarely stay where they are. On Black communities, managed democracy expands. So no, this is not paranoia. This is pattern recognizing. Round two. Round two. The real target is the mind. Political exhaustion is as a weapon. I said it a few times ago. Um, Psychological warfare. That's we. So we're gonna definitely talk about the mind, because if power can convince people that resistance is pointless, it does not have. I'm gonna say it again. It does not have to suppress them hard. I don't have to suppress you that much. I don't have to cut you completely off, because you're still gonna feed the system. If it can get people to say my vote does not matter, it wins. If it can get people to say they already decided, it wins. If it can continue to get our people to say, why even try when we not gonna win, it wins. And let me be honest, for some, frustration is definitely understood and earned. I understand it. People have voted loyally and loyal to their liberties, not necessarily a party, but to their liberties and freedoms that they have, and still watch schools close, hospitals disappear, neighborhoods decline, land get scooped up, districts get cut, and promises evaporate like a drought-ridden Texas. So I'm not insulting people for being tired, but I am I'm asking and telling the truth of hopelessness, because hopelessness is politically useful. A population that mentally surrenders no longer requires heavy suppression. That's the target. I'm gonna just put my thumb on you and y'all cave. Not just you, but your vote, your will, your pursuit of happiness. Shoot. Perry, you ready for your shot?
Pour me up.
What if the real objective is no longer stopping people from voting, but convincing them organized resistance is pointless?
It's funny you asked me this one. I I have a chance to work with groups nationally who are really into this area we call election integrity.
Mm.
And and so appreciate that, Dr. Campbell. So anyway, just some little humor here and there. But now one of the things we have I've been seeing more in lately as these discussions around election integrity have happened is that they have definitely gotten whiter. And that's not to say that they weren't white in the beginning. They, they've gotten just much whiter because there's a sense and threat of, oh wow, this can't be happening in my community. And so, being one of the few black faces there, I'm saying, well, welcome. And and so, how do we find alliance? And so, I've kind of learned that, their zeal, I appreciate. And while I'm not really totally in line with all that their zeal, it does open the door opportunity of what they're doing, being able to help our own. And I think that, again, when what I'm starting to feel more in our communities in that hopelessness is just not so much as it being a candidate, but just as far as us having a vision for what our leadership should look like. And I mean that from top to bottom. Because we've shown inconsistency in the kind of leadership that we want. We've made it hard for some of our sisters in leadership roles while they campaign, while giving brothers a dismissal.
A pass.
Yeah, a straight up pass. I mean, we can't. I was there when they talked about Barack being young and they thought he was being arrogant, but not on the level that they treated Vice President Kamala Harris. I mean, let's look at the difference. I mean, Barack was a first-term senator versus a vice president, and yet, and so we've definitely got some things to fix in this process in terms of understanding even the value of our own vote, whatever that block may be. We better understand what that block is and get the full value of it at this point.
Yes, indeed. I mean, that's the psychological play, though. Stopping people outright can create backlash, and they don't want that. Convincing them nothing matters is quieter. Just like you said, it makes suppression self-administrated. You know what I'm saying? It's like we'll end up suppressing ourselves to a point.
Right.
Because, you know, we stop attending meetings, reading ballots, checking maps, watching judges, building candidates,
Right.
running for particular seats, funding media, training youth. Dr. Campbell say all the time, reaching back, documenting harm. I mean, then the power gets to the room itself. uh, and it's dead. You can't move it. I mean,
Mhm.
that's why recon and counter recon, especially in for me as a scout in the military, that's why that matters. Recon and counter recon matters. I got to know what you're doing and what you're doing,
Mhm.
and how do I combat the what you're doing and combat the what you're doing, so that I could be sustainable. Because what you're doing is only the front. There's something always going on at the back. I promise. Combat is always like that. Warfare is always like that. Warfare is always like that. And I initiated this conversation with letting y'all know that psychological warfare is being imposed on the American people. I said it a while ago. They studied our turnout, anger, fear, fatigue, division, and despair. We need to study power back because if they know what makes us quit and we don't, then crown me. And we ain't even playing with chess pieces. That's checkers. Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Indeed.
When communities emotionally disconnect from politics, who quietly gains uncontested institutional power?
Well, the control generally defaults to the incumbents, the highly partisan bases, the special interest groups. The same people love money
I'm
get
glad you brought
people
them
through every
up because
time.
they always try to leave them out.
It's the same folks. If you're on the
Hmm.
Epstein list, probably you. But it's a subject for another day. But that's why I tell people when they don't not be angry. Because people are like, oh, well, don't get mad about it. No, be mad. Just focus
Hmm.
on that anger.
Hmm.
Because a mad person will do a whole lot. So just focus it. Don't get distraught. Be like, oh, I don't want to do this no more. No. Focus it on making sure they don't ever run again.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Everybody who stayed organized, uh, that is who gains. Developers still show up. Police unions still show up. Contractors still show up. Lobbyists still show up. PACs still show up. Pedophiles, I'm sorry. School predators, I'm sorry. School prioritizers, they still show up. Yeah, I I just had to. It kept getting in my way, Dr. Campbell. like I was trying to find the word for them, but people who want land still show up. Power does not pause because the community is tired, y'all. When we despair, power transfer, not to the righteous or to the organized even. So disengagement is not neutral. Somebody benefits when we say I'm done. And a whole lot of people are coining their pockets, lining their pockets, writing hot checks long before we even said that we are done. Because the anticipation is great. Dr. Campbell, you ready for your shot?
I'm ready.
How dangerous is hopelessness politically compared to direct suppression?
Hopelessness is way more dangerous. Direct suppression gets people angry.
Mm,
Anger fights back, but hopelessness just quits. No marches, no lawsuits, no turnout. Uh, you can just beat a bad law. You can't beat a people who've already given up. That's checkmate without a single rule changing.
didn't I say crown me? And that's checkers.
Mm.
And these people is playing checkers, and we still have no combat.
Hmm.
we, we
Chess
have
with no
no
strategy,
defense.
huh?
Yeah, but they playing checkers, Queen.
Hmm. A simpler game than chess, yes. Mm.
Hopelessness may be more dangerous because it gets inside the person. Like you said, direct suppression can make people angry. Hopelessness gonna make us steal or shut down.
Hopelessness makes you feel
Direct,
like you're a fool for even trying.
right? Direct
But
suppression can create resistance, but hopelessness can create surrender. What you're saying? I give up. Forget it. Yeah, it makes people mock organization. It makes strategy look corny or empty, right? It makes
mm,
civic work look pointless, Dr. Campbell. I heard you say that. It makes the reach back look null and void.
mm,
It makes elders think the youth don't even care. What's the reason?
mm,
I hear that from so many of our seniors. Notice I did
mm.
not call you an elder. I hear that a lot from our seniors. I don't know what to say about these kids. Then everybody distrusts everybody while power keeps moving. That's why we have to be angry but not reckless, like Dustin said, or careless, like Dr. Campbell said. Tired but not surrendered. Done with the lies, but not done with the power. It's still the power is yours. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Why bother is like a quiet ache, a slow ache, like arthritis in your knee that just flares up on you. You know, why bother? You know, but you need to
Yeah.
bother.
Mm-hmm. You need to question
It
why
don't
you
it
got
don't it
that
don't take
tingle in your
nothing to give
chest.
up. Somebody tells me that all the time. It don't take nothing to give up.
Man, 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 man. What happens when communities stop producing judges, lawyers, organizers, journalists, election workers, and candidates because they psychologically surrendered already? Anybody want to respond to that?
The
That's
system
our
wins by
guest
default.
question. Yep. Say that again.
The system wins by default. There's no one left to draw fair maps. There's no one left to challenge bad rulings. There's no one left to write the story, run the precinct, or even sit on the bench. The other side doesn't even have to fight anymore. They just manage the emptiness. That's not democracy. That's a ghost town with a voting booth.
I mean, it kills a pipeline, and once that pipeline died, just like we said, if you're not raising or building candidates or encouraging potential candidates or assisting potential candidates, you kill it, it kills the pipeline. The community becomes dependent on whoever dones or donates or whatever party. It is unstable in all its ways and decisions. And because, power brokers decides it's acceptable. I mean, like the power say, hey, you could do that. That's what the power say, even if the power is an illusion. Pull me up, somebody.
If voting alone cannot save politically weak communities anymore, what systems must exist alongside the ballot?
Voting must sit inside infrastructure, legal infrastructure, map literacy, candidate pipelines, community controlled media. I don't know if y'all were able to attend the 409 Media Mixer at Dorothy's on Saturday. What was that, Saturday? If you didn't, I heard you missed the treat. Y'all already know me and Bad Weather don't get along, so I know I missed the treat. But shout out to all of the individuals that attended, and shout out to Floyd Hope for his award that he received. I see you, brother. as well as all of the other individuals that were there. Definitely look forward to next year. I hope to be in attendance. Shout out to all of the sponsors to the mixer as well. South End Neighborhood Association and all of their collaboratives like North End Neighborhood Association, Pear Orchard Neighborhood Association, South Park Neighborhood Association, and communities across the entire full nine. I definitely want to say shout out to y'all, big ups to y'all for supporting that. Again, these are community controlled media, economic organization, independent institutions, civic education, donor accountability. This is the answer. That is the only way. The ballot alone is not enough. If nothing else surrounds it, it's vulnerable. Like you've just given up the key. We need lawyers, court watchers, public record teams that know what they're looking at, election law teams that know how to scrutinize these particular numbers. Like Perry keep telling us every time. You don't have a record of it. Somebody need to sit at the door. We need candidates trained long before the crisis come. We need media that explains ballots, follows money, and tracks promises, especially black promises, especially black agenda promises. If you shy away from the black agenda, it's obvious that you are not for the Negroid people. We need economic networks because broke communities are easier to silence. We need political money, not PAC money, political money that answers to us, 100% to us, because everybody else has theirs. PACs got theirs, corporate interests have theirs, party machines got theirs, APAC got theirs, billionaires like the president got his. Why are Negro communities expected to fight political warfare with inspiration and Bible quotes and turnout alone? Make that make sense? No, we need structure because symbolism without structure is how communities stay emotionally engaged while being managed and controlled. So I'm just letting you know. Chat question number 2. Chat, what destroys political resistance the fastest? Put a 1 in the chat for exhaustion. Put a 2 in the chat for fear. Put a 3 in the chat for division. Put a 4 in the chat for economic struggle. Put a 5 in the chat for believing nothing changes. Drop your number. Anybody want to respond to that before we go to that
Number
round table
3,
question? I heard a number 3.
division, because fear and exhaustion can slow you down. Economic struggle hurts, but division makes you fight each other instead of the real enemy.
Mm. Anybody else? All right.
Ditto.
Which one? Ditto?
That one as well, because division is the main problem all the time.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah, we could overcome fear, exhaustion, um, economic struggles, but we can't do it as a single individual. Division gets us every single time. I
Divide and
totally
conquer
agree.
works every time because we do
Every
half the
time
job
it
for
works
them.
in warfare. It works
Mm,
in even on the football field. It works on the
mm,
basketball court. It works in tennis. If I could make you go this way and hit that ball and make it go that way, guess what? I win.
mhm.
So, um, roundtable question: What if the greatest? What if the greatest political victory against vulnerable communities is not voter suppression itself, but psychologically convincing people to voluntarily disengage from collective power? What if? Just what if? That's just the what if. Like Campbell,
Then
you got the
they built a
floor.
prison with no walls.
Mm.
You don't have to lock someone up if you can convince them that the door is not worth walking through it. No protests, no lawsuits, no candidates, just silence wrapped in. What's the point?
That's twice she
That's
said
not
that,
a
y'all.
defeat. That's not a defeated people. That's people who don't even know that they're in a fight anymore. They're
Mm-hmm.
already defeated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Perry, you got the floor.
I'm
You muted,
sorry.
brother. Oh,
You
okay,
you
no problem.
gone? Yeah, come back.
You say go now?
Dustin,
Oh, go ahead, Dustin. Dustin, you got the floor.
To me, that would be the nicest they've ever been. Cause they done jailed people behind it, beat them, killed them, made them pay for it. So yeah, this might be a little, they might be getting soft.
I agree, Dustin. This might be bittersweet. I don't know, Dustin. It might be tangy, like it might be
mm,
tart. I mean,
not
um,
tangy.
tangy tart. I mean, it may, like I said, it may be the most dangerous victory of all, if I could say that, because if people disengage voluntarily, the system gets to act innocent. It says, they didn't show up. They don't care. They're not organized. It never says we were exhausted or made exhausted by design, confused by design,
Then the trust
ignored
is
by
lost in the
design.
community.
Right. Used until cynical,
Mm-hmm.
promised until numb. This is why hopelessness has to be fought like a political weapon, because it is. You don't
It
have
is.
to close a polling place if nobody believes voting matters.
Right.
You don't have to hide a map if nobody read it. You don't have to fear a candidate if nobody, and I do mean nobody, trains one. You don't have to, excuse me, you don't have to defeat an institution if the community never built it.
Right.
And to the folks telling Negro voters to try Republicans one time, while those the same political forces celebrated to roll back of black representation, don't ask us to ignore the arsonists because the landlord disappointed us. I mean, we can critique Democrats. We can call out white Democrat cowardice. We can call out donor silence. We can hold black elected officials accountable as well. But do not, and I do mean do not insult our intelligence by telling us to bend or hand power to people actively weakening our representation and call that independent thinking.
Mm.
That's not independence. That's I almost called it what it was, but I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna say that's political amnesia. Something nice that just cute. I'm gonna call it political amnesia. And you heard Dr. Campbell clear her throat because she knew it was coming out. I had to close my eyes to keep it from coming out my mouth. Round three. Round three. Build or be ruled. Voting alone is not enough without institutions. So, jumping right into it, Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Yep.
If this rollback was strategically planned over decades, what institutions should communities already be building or have built?
Me personally, I like the community strategy that's been broadcast across social media. A lot of people probably ain't, into it. It's because there's a few things that Southern men, which who basically run these political parties, love more than anything. One of them is their money. Two of them is football. So the trend I've been seeing is telling black folks, "Hey, stop sending your kids to these schools."
Mm,
And you know what would have happened so fast? You would see governors, assistant governors, district attorneys, all the way down to mayors removed from office, quick in a mug if all of a sudden the SEC become one of the worst conferences in college football.
I promise.
Because ain't nothing they love more than to wake up on Saturday morning and watch SEC football all day.
All day.
See, because in the back of their head, they want old school football, but the moment they look at that TV and realize they one of the few teams that actually don't have black athletes, oh boy, they gonna change their tune quick in a hurry. And I would love to see it. I would love to be sitting right there on that couch watching them like, man, Alabama sure look like 1940 Alabama. Not a quick twitch in sight.
Man, man. I agree. That's deep. That's Campbell. You ready for your shot? Golly.
Yes.
Let me affect you in your entertainment, in your pocket and your entertainment. Yes, indeed. Um, Dr. Campbell, at what point does survival require communities to become economically, legally, educationally, and informationally self-sustaining?
The moment you realize nobody's coming to save you.
Mm,
Not the next election, not the next court ruling, not the next protest. When
mm,
the laws are rigged, the maps are drawn, and the courts look away. Survival stops being a protest and starts being a parallel system. Schools,
mm.
banks, news, courts of your own. Not because you want separation, but because the other side already separated you. You're just
Exactly.
finally acting like it
Exactly. Exactly. Now, not later. Now is what I
now.
heard her say.
That's what I see.
Perry, you ready for your shot?
Yeah.
Why are communities still organizing emotionally every election cycle instead of structurally every month?
Um, and I mean this with true respect. Um,
Oh, wait, before you even start. Don't y'all love when somebody get ready to respond and say, look, with all due respect.
And they know they just really disrespect you. Yeah. Hmm.
Go ahead, big bro.
no, really, it isn't any disrespect. What I will
Yeah.
say is, I think when I looked at this question, it makes me think that uh, really what we see in our current leadership is assimilation of the strategic uh, actions that we did once upon a time. Uh, the protests, the way we prepare for elections in our communities, on the surface has not changed.
Mm,
And I call it, and the way I look at it is simulation and immolation really looks alike, but they're not alike. Because assimilation, looks on the surface like it's doing everything correctly. When you do an emulation, it has the very essence and practices and the undergirding, understanding of it. Emulation doesn't have to look exactly like it, but it's going to act like it.
Mm.
And so what we see now is a lot of things that look familiar, but it ain't. It like Samson, it's shaking itself and no power coming.
Yes, Samson.
And I say that respectfully.
That was after the haircut.
With all, yeah, right. With all due respect. Yes, indeed.
Give me
I
some
love it.
points on that. I'm just saying.
You
You
got
said
it,
it
brother. I
cute.
mean, yeah, we put you some shave powder on after we. Yes, indeed. Guess question. What should communities immediately begin building? Is it legal defense funds, independent schools, economic coalitions, community media, candidate pipelines, or civic training systems? Anybody want to respond to that?
They should have started building them all yesterday. That's what
Who
communities should have did
Yeah,
yesterday.
all of them.
Yeah,
would you
they
say
need to
build
stop
ye all
at
of them?
build all of them yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
they need to stop asking when and start asking who's bringing the first $20 to the first empty desk. That's what they need to say.
I agree. I
They
Saying
agree.
don't need
But
permission.
did
They don't need a grant. They need three people in the room that's willing to be boring and relentless
huh?
and build a fund while they're still counting votes.
Mm.
Train the kids
Just
while the courts are still in session and start
go
the
ahead, Dr.
the
Campbell.
credit unions, the council, because by the time you need it, it's already too late to start. So start now.
Yeah,
Start yesterday.
start now. Yeah, now, not later. Now, Dustin, Dustin say like a PK. Build ye all of them.
That's what I said. PK present.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Um, who gonna pull me up? Somebody, please.
If slavery is still measured on the ballot, what does freedom require beyond the ballot?
Like we said throughout this entire episode from the jump and even previous episodes, um, over the years, and I'm not talking about over the year that we brought Dr. Campbell and Dustin to the table. I'm talking about over the years of the Roundtable Talk Show on this particular platform. Terry, Roy, and Tony have said at this roundtable on several occasions back in the day, first Thursdays of the month, and divulged this information to our community several times. And good evening, uh, Terry. I saw you commented earlier. That is the answer. Freedom requires control. 100%. The ballot matters, but the ballot is not the whole freedom project, y'all.
No, when you control your own
Free,
economy, your jobs, your banks, and your contracts, you don't need their permission. When you control your own information, the news and the data, not filtered through their lenses, and when you own your own enforcement, like the lawyers, the courts, and accountability, that answers to you, not to a system that wrote the rules, that's where the real power is.
I agree. Freedom is measured by what we organize, what we own, what we protect, what we teach, what we fund, what we build, what we defend, what we pass down. Freedom requires land. I mean, because without land, we can be moved. Economics, because without money, We can be bought or starved. Schools, because without education, our children inherit confusion. Legal
On the
defense,
boat.
because without law literacy, every single system can intimidate us. Media, because like I said earlier, without narrative control, without our story being told by us, they can turn our pain into disorder and our resistance into danger. Candidate pipelines. I got a very good friend of mine who reached out saying, I have an idea about running for a political office or a political space. By all means, brother, go do it. Because without prepared leadership, elections become popularity contests. And that's one of the main reasons that this individual said, I'm a run, because some folks think they're more popular than others. Memory. We definitely need memory, because without memory, every attack feels new. Every attack feels new. We need spirit, because without spirit, our people break under pressure, especially these new ones. We need institutions, because without institutions, every generation starts over. We have to stop repeating the cycle, especially when we know we got the tools in the shed. We got the instruction manual in the junk drawer in the kitchen. Stop playing. Stop playing. We need donors, especially donor accountability, because money is not neutral. Money has politics that most of us refuse to even engage in. And I ain't talking about the money, I'm talking about the politics. Money has loyalty. Money has priorities. If PACs, dog money, corporate money, party machines, foreign policy lobbyists, and billionaire class networks can shape who gets heard, funded, attacked, or even erased, then we need our own money, our own networks, our own institutions, and our own power.
That's right.
So yes, vote, but build before you vote. Build after you vote. Vote. Build while you vote. Because if all we do is vote, then we're gonna be right in this same position. The people who control maps, courts, money, schools, media, police, policy, land, will still control the world around that particular ballot or that ballot measure. And again, slavery is but a measure on the ballot. All it got to do is make it to the ballot. Freedom is infrastructure, y'all. If we do not build, we will be ruled by those who did. Check question number 3. Finish this honestly as you possibly can. Communities lose power when they, one, organize emotionally instead of structurally. Put a 2 in the chat if you depend entirely on elections. Put a 3 in the chat if it's failed to build institutions. Put a 4 in the chat if you ignore long-term strategy, and put a 5 in the chat if you just check out mentally. I ain't even dealing with it. Roundtable question. If democracy itself is being strategically restructured, what must communities now control themselves politically, economically, educationally, legally, culturally, and informationally to survive what may become what may be coming next? I'm gonna drop that in. I'm gonna drop this chat question in the chat. Dr. Campbell, you got the floor. And
Everything that doesn't require their permission politically, their own candidates,
mm,
precincts, and poll watchers. Economically, banks, contracts, and mutual aid that don't beg for crumbs. Educationally, schools that teach power, not just test prep.
Hmm.
And legally, public defenders turn judges and funds to fight bad laws. Culturally, stories, art, and history don't have to be explained, don't have to explain or apologize for. And informationally, their own news, data, and platforms. The other
Mm-hmm.
side already built theirs. Communities either build parallel systems now or beg for scraps inside a rigged game later. Those are the only two options left. So I said a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
You got to do it yesterday.
Perry, you got the floor.
I think we seriously have to reimagine
Got
uh,
to. Yeah.
what our communities look like. We we must take hold of those things that uh, from our elders that have sustained us, without a doubt. Uh, but to continue to engage in this uh, sometimes you know we get it, even during this election cycle, uh, we have gotten distracted into arguments over things that are so minor
Mm.
in terms of the position and the authority in which we are we aspire to have or we willingly give up.
Mm-hmm.
Because whether or not we're voting uh, uh, whoever is in that office, uh, is speaking on our behalf, or at least we've given them the authority to. And so it's hard to expect someone to speak on your behalf who has not come from where you come from, or who does not even identify with where you are.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that you have to have that the person has to have walked the same walk, but then to as I've said, I mean, I've seen mayoral races go down to whether or not it's a classmate or a cousin, and we've got to get beyond that because that's our power. And to not address this and not begin to understand that our lack of stewardship over leadership should not continue to the next generation, because we're seeing the outcome of what that has produced.
Mm.
And so to engage young leaders, yes, they don't have to all look like Martin. They don't all have to talk like Malcolm. They don't all have to, you know, thrill
Be
us
the
like,
nucleus family. Right.
but they do need to meet the need.
Exactly. Dustin, you have the floor.
We just gotta come up with a nice little strategy. I say control local first, then move yourself on out. So start with your neighborhood association. Run that. If you don't have one, create one. Pretty sure it's kind of simple. Just get a couple of neighbors who want to come talk to each other. Bam, neighborhood association. You write up
Right.
your own little charters and all that in your spare time. Bam, situation solved. From there, city council. Move from neighborhood to your city council. Either your ward, at large, or heck, if you feel froggy, jump at mayor. Knock the city council part out. Once you get the city council, in order to your city getting how you like it to be, move forward. County, because there's county officials. You might not know what they do, but there's a position. Go ahead and research, work your way there, and you get the gist from there. You move it out to the state. Then you could, if you move fast enough, you can get on up to governor before you're 100. Hey, but start local. Start small, a little PTA, a little neighborhood association. Figure how to work that and then jump on out there. But have
I
a way
love
to,
it.
build yourself.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What you say? Don't don't go to college. Go to the community. I love it. Communities must control the infrastructure of survival, y'all. Politically, we need candidate pipelines, voter education, map literacy, court watching, election board monitoring, issue based organizing, right? Economically, business networks, cooperative buyings or co ops, credit unions, banks. We said that a few episodes ago. Land trust, we said that a few episodes ago. Emergency funds, go check out the episodes ago. Local investments, go check out the episodes ago. Educationally, we told y'all episodes ago about the what's coming down the pipeline, and ironically, it's here, and you got chaos. What chaos for what? We already told y'all what was coming, especially here at the Roundtable Talk. It was like an exclusive before the exclusive. We didn't even need a Sandy Massey or whatever her name was because we read the pattern. We see the pattern. Legally, we need legal defense funds, public um, records teams, civil rights monitoring, housing law education, environmental law education, land law education, and documentation teams, individuals that will document culinary memory, church histories, cemetery records, family records, neighborhood archives, local black newspapers, storytelling. Go get some of them old folks that we think is losing their mind, or what we call back in the day see now. Go talk to them. I guarantee, and record what it is that they're saying. You don't have to record them. Record what they're saying. I guarantee you'll pull a whole lot up out of it. Music, language, spiritual grounding, informational. I remember a show that we did a while back. Tony Renfro said children can't do this without spiritual grounding. Information, and it's their adults. It's some of their parents that need spiritual grounding as well. Information, our own media, not gossip media. Community controlled media that documents meetings, follows money, explain ballots, interview candidates, track promises, and tell our story before someone else distorts it, right? And financially, we need political money that answers to us. Everybody else, like I said earlier, got theirs. Where's ours? Power never sleep, y'all. I want y'all to recognize that power never sleeps. It reorganizes. And if we keep waiting for broken systems to save us, we may have what we might as well wake up and realize the structure changed while we were still arguing over personalities. Our people bled for the ballot.
In our faces.
Now we better build beyond it, because if not, we gonna bleed for another ballot. Give us some words for the rest of the week, Dr. Campbell. Perry, you follow Dustin. Then you and I close us out.
You don't have to be angry every day, but you can't afford to be absent. Show up, build something, and outlast them. That's the whole play.
Exactly. Perry, you had the floor. Golly.
When you see one termite, that termite ain't lost.
And it ain't by itself either.
He's a sign.
Mhm.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Hey, bro,
How?
you messy because you know right now we going through them termites. Dustin, you got the floor.
Well, phrase of the day. It's an oldie. Started when I was 2 years old. It was a thing that said, "Don't mess with Texas."
Don't mess with
It
Texas.
was a little campaign to try to reduce roadside trash and messing up Texas. So I think that need to ramp itself back up because as I drive through my district I live in, my ward too, I keep seeing the same spots littered with trash. And then as I was driving through the school zones of that same ward too, I see people open that door, throw like a little receipt out. I'm like, you couldn't keep that receipt in your pocket till you got to where you need to be. See somebody walking down the street, take the top off the drink, throw the top on the ground, keep walking. Like, if you still drinking the drink, you could have kept that top with you. It's just little things like that I keep seeing around the city. And I still want to know who keep throwing all that trash on Walden. Because eventually somebody gonna catch you and gonna beat you good. Cause y'all pass through there every day, throwing all that trash out the back of your truck. Cause I know it's about the back of your truck. Cause it ain't nothing but beer cans, bottles, and food you done ate. So
Mm.
somebody gonna get a hold of you, and I'm gonna laugh when they do. So, and all saying that, the Don't Mess with Texas was built off Texas pride, and I think the influx of people from other states have weakened that. But I'm gonna need y'all to tighten up. Because stop throwing
Mm.
your trash on other people's property before them people start throwing that trash back in your car.
Mm.
Y'all gonna have a good one with that one.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Um, I definitely want us to understand uh discipline. I'm a pull a Dustin right fast. I got a word for this week, and it's called discipline. Not panic, not fear, not hopelessness, discipline. Um, I mean, discipline turns outrage into strategy. It turns voting into infrastructure. It turns pain into power. Discipline keeps building when the camera leaves, when the election ends, when the donors go quiet, and when the people get tired. Discipline, discipline. That is the word. Discipline. To all of those that were in the state of Texas and other national runoff elections, congratulations to the victor and to the candidate that were the opposed. It takes a lot to participate in our democracy. So I totally understand. I thank you, each and every one of you, for putting your name in the hat to represent some individuals like myself. And again, congratulations to all of those that are the victor to be on the November ballot. So I definitely want us to gear ourselves right back up for the November election, which is the general election 2026. Um, Tonight was not a go out and vote and everything will be okay episode. That was that was not what we were conveying. I want you to know this was the understand the structure episode. Suppression evolved. Hope is a battlefield, and voting alone. is not enough without infrastructure. And by the end of this episode tonight, I hope and pray that all of us understands that this uh, political rollback was strategic and decades in the making, and I do mean decades in the making. I pray someone in our community recognizes that hopelessness can become a political weapon. I pray that somebody understands that Black representation is being targeted with speed and precision. And I also pray that our community stop waiting on broken systems to save us while those same systems are being redesigned and redefined right around us. That ain't just about ballots anymore, y'all. This is about whether people recognize that power never sleeps. It reorganizes. And if slavery is still measured or a measure on the ballot, then freedom better be measured by what we organize, what we own, what we prioritize, what we protect, what we teach, what we fund and build after Election Day. There's three moves I want to leave y'all with. One, learn your district. Learn whatever voter district you in, your city council, like Dustin said, your school board, your county commissioners, your state house, your congressional representation. Learn who represents you, what map you live under, when it was drawn, and who benefited. Number two, follow the money. Like we told y'all a little while ago. PACs, donors, dog money, party machines, who, especially those who fund candidates who attack Black representation. We want to know who claims democracy but despairs when disappears when Black districts are targeted or dismantled. We want to know who you are. Number three, build one piece of civic infrastructure this month. Build a study group, build a voter education circle, a candidate interview team, uh, a community media lane, or join the one that's already being established. A legacy legacy literacy session where we understand the legacies of which we come from. A youth civic night. It don't have to be much of nothing. Give them some entertainment. Teach them who some other individuals in our community are. A district map workshop where we draw the lines. Start somewhere because power respects organized power. It recognizes organized power. To my co-hosts, Dr. Catherine Campbell, Perry, and Dustin, thank you for bringing your minds on this evening. Of course, I knew it was going to be honest, and I appreciate y'all's fire. To our guests, if anyone in the chat definitely got on the conversation at your house, thank you for stepping into pressure. To every listener and viewer, thank you for sitting with a conversation that refuses to lie to you. This has been episode 62, Ballots and Bloodshed. Until next time, study the map, watch the courts, follow the money, build the institution, protect your mind, don't surrender your hope, and do not let anybody, and I do mean anybody, tell you that the ballot is useless while they are working this hard to weaken it. And as always, stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. Thank y'all for watching. God bless. Good night.